What is up, guys? This is Brainy Days once again. We have another video. Today we're going to talk about something really important, and that is how you can do the wrong thing and progress faster than most. Now, first of all, who am I? I'm just a Gen Z dude who loves self-learning and self-education, and basically it is my life since I was a kid and a teenager, and I just was obsessed with a lot of topics and I wanted to learn everything, and I just didn't want to choose one thing and just go all in on that because I thought that it would be very boring, and I just basically spent all my life building the skills to be able to learn a whole different array of things efficiently. And I want to talk to you guys about basically a few tips so you can do the same. Specifically around the things about how a lot of people are obsessed with doing the correct things. But if you don't know why they worked in the first place, then you will just never be able to get the results that you want. What do I mean about that? Well, basically, you have to be able to do a good job reverse engineering correctly the goals that you want to achieve. What do I mean by that? Well, you got to identify the main principles behind what drives the success of people that you want to emulate. What I mean is that after identifying the principles, you can just always deconstruct everything that you find into those basic principles that you can see how it would look basically in just any area that you want to apply. So let's just go more concrete now, right? For example, let's say that I am a super productivity nerd and I do mind maps. I have a Google Calendar. I take notes digitally with Obsidian or Notion. I have my second brain. I have my Anki flashcards. I want to remember everything, but at the same time, I never remember stuff. I have to reread a lot, and I just don't know what to do with a lot of the time, basically procrastinating and not even just completing the stuff that I have in my calendar. So, what are the problems there? Well, the principles are, is the mind map good? Well, not necessarily, because just because you do a mind map doesn't mean that you learn correctly. Just, they are basically proportional to how good you make it, basically just thinking, because thinking is what makes the mind map key. What were you thinking when you made the mind map? Just, you got to think, what was the person who made a good mind map and who understood the topic? What were they thinking before doing the mind map? What are the questions that then made them draw whatever they draw in the mind map? You know what I'm saying? So why am I not, for example, I don't know, why are the people who understand it way better thinking? Why would they do it this way instead of my way? Why is this pattern that I have when I do a mind map to basically not ask as many questions? You gotta just ask more questions before doing things, and not necessarily think that just the activity is the good thing in and of itself. It isn't beneficial. The benefit comes from what you do when you're doing that activity. Again, why am I not completing my calendar, for example? Because you're forcing yourself, because you hear that a calendar is needed to be productive, and then just dopamine arises. But when you create your perfect scheduled day that you will never fucking complete, instead of using it like a tool, some people use the calendar instead of just planning the perfect day and then completing it. They use it as a time tracker, so they just do whatever they want the whole day, and then they just write it down in a calendar. So that's another way of using it, for example, and that can even be more productive for you than just planning every week in advance. You know what I'm saying? So then the big thing here is also that dopamine arises when you start doing the things that productivity people tell you, and that isn't that you've learned it. So basically your brain feels good when it's not doing the work, but basically just telling people that you're doing the work. It's the same thing that happens every time where you say to someone like, I want to accomplish this goal. I'm going to start the gym. I'm going to make a fucking change in my body. I'm going to start a diet and whatever. And like, you feel good saying that, but it would be better if you just didn't say anything and you just did it, because then the dopamine would be real. Like, you would be feeling good because you actually did it, not because you're thinking about doing it. Well, it's the same with learning. You can do things which make you feel good and make you feel like you're learning better, but they aren't really changing anything, and they're just ways that make you feel better about yourself, but don't change the outcome. They are like the cold showers and meditation in the morning of productivity, of learning. So yeah, basically that's what I wanted to talk about. So let's just talk about how people overcomplicate it with productivity principles, and like the minimalist method that actually drives results is way better than a maximalist method that you have everything organized but you haven't progressed a bit. I mean, that is just the cold truth, guys. This is what it has to be. Information loops and productivity loops are not action that moves the needle. You can just basically do a reverse engineering of what do I want, what are the minimum actions needed to get there, what is literally the least amount of work that I can do to do it, and then just plainly deconstruct that. You have a straightforward plan and you can just start doing it. No organization, no Notion templates, no Obsidian, Second Brain, no Google Calendar, no AI time saving apps, nothing, man. Just the thing you have to do and a no nonsense approach of what to do after that first task. If you cannot put your mentality to do that, then you will never really make a change in your self learning because you're not really taking responsibility, man. So yeah, I don't want to make you guys feel bad or anything, but this is just what I've seen, and I'm talking to you guys like this because I've actually experimented this myself and I've corrected it with myself. So that's why I'm saying this to you guys, because I went through this exactly myself and I don't want you guys to repeat the same mistake and waste a lot of time. So yeah, I guarantee you guys that if you apply this thinking, not even an action or anything, just the thinking, the principles behind this, then you will be able to change your outcomes a lot more than you think, guys. Anyways, this is what I had to say, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. See you in the next video, guys.